welcome back to another message crawler update. Today I am super excited because I added a feature that people have been asking me over and over again, and it is Oxygen XML support. Let me take you to my screen and show you how it looks. Alright, we have message crawler here, and I have some data loaded. Unfortunately, I cannot show you this data, but I'm just going to give you a quick peek at what I have loaded here. And we have data in different categories. We have text messages and we have Oxygen metadata. And we'll be able to not just ingest Oxygen text message data, but also other metadata such as device information, health information, or whatever else is stored there. So how do we do that? Let's go to the import screen and go to Oxygen XML, of course. And here, there aren't a lot of features, right? We give it a name, we can assign a custodian, and we have a temporary path to use, and then we have one of those like a safety things. If the from is blank, what should be placed in that field, because you guys know by now that RSMF does not allow any text messages that don't have any from information. So we have to have it. Even if it wasn't provided by forensic software, we have to put something in there. So we have a couple of other options that would be pretty simple to understand, like copy attachments to repository, meaning the files will get pulled from the original source and stored in the message crawler repository. This way, if the original data is deleted or something happens to it, you still have all your data together. And then, just like in Celebrite, we have generate native and generate extracted text. So what these do is generate native will take a snippet of XML from the actual Oxygen XML file, just cut out a piece, and it will save it as a native file. The reason it does that is so that we can perform quality control and see what other metadata is there. Did something go wrong? Is everything okay? You know, you can look at your native file and be confident that conversion was good, and possibly see what other metadata field is present in case you're interested in investigating something further. Extracted text is a collection of all possible fields dumped into a text file, and what you can do is use that as a extracted text to perform searches. Let's say you're looking for a word anywhere in any field, so you can use that extract text. Then we have our buttons to import and stop. That's pretty simple. However, the last option here is import type, and we have incremental as well as all at once. So this is actually very important. Now, the XML files tend to get absolutely huge, like they could get massive. And what incremental import does is it basically streams data. It takes like 1,000 records, puts it into database, takes the next 1,000, puts them in a database. Problem with that is if you load it that way, data isn't sorted, right? It just comes in the order that it is in the XML file. But the option here is all at once. So what this will do is it'll read all the data from XML into memory, sort it all nicely, build conversations, do everything, and then put it into the database, right? However, if you do all at once, this will only work for a smaller XML files, which are, you know, a few hundred megabytes, maybe a gig or so, depends on your computer. And again, if you're getting out of memory errors, good idea to reboot and also not to use a VM computer. Even though computers, VM may seem like it has like 32 gigs, the memory in those computers tend to get fragmented quickly, and fragmented memory doesn't work well for allocating big chunks of data. So back to our options. So we have an incremental or all at once. Incremental means you will have to sort your data before export. All at once means it's going to be sorted for you, but you may hit a limit as to how much data you can load. And then we have on the side here, extract additional fields. So you can tell message crawler to look for not just text messages, but just read all kinds of metadata fields and look for these fields in there and pull them out as columns. This is kind of a short list. You can add to it. I'll probably add more to it as I explore the XML structure more and more. but this is kind of a short version, so we can extract this and we can put this into columns, and we'll be able to use that additional metadata for whatever else we want to do. Still not sure the exact use cases for it, but people have been asking me to pull that out, so that's what this option does. Now, I know what you guys are going to ask for next is, look, I have this Oxygen XML and I just want to convert to RSMF. I don't want to load it to grid, and for that, just like we have Oxygen DAT, we have Oxygen XML. So here again, we can take our XML file and convert. This will only work for text messages, and we can convert by the whole thread or by thread plus day. Now this is gonna have this is gonna do that all at once import. So this may actually not work really well for huge XML files because we do need to sort the data before export, right? We can't just take threads or thread by day. We have to read all the way to the bottom to know how many threads we have. We can't just read a few thousand records, create conversations, sort them, and export. There could be more records that need to be added. So that's why this is going to use like all at once methodology, and this may have more limits as to how much data you can load at once. But again, it's there, and I will work on optimizing it and fine-tuning, so even though we're loading all at once, it uses as little memory as possible. I'm not actually loading XML into memory because that's super bulky. I'm loading metadata into memory in a fairly optimized objects. So hopefully it's not going to be as bad as my earlier versions of Celebrate XML Reader. That one wasn't really happy holding a lot of data in memory. So that's my addition to most recent version of beta. Is we have an Oxygen XML convert and Oxygen XML import. So if you're interested in trying this out, send me an email, contact me somewhere, and I'll send you a private link to try a beta version of Message Crawler 6. Thank you for checking out this update. I will see you on another.